Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are doing great. Hope that all is blessing for you. And most importantly, my friends, I hope that you are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. Today we want to talk about a very important topic. And I just want to say a little bit of disclaimer. Whatever you hear on this video are just strictly educational purpose and based on my own personal empirical understanding of what has been happening for the past 25 years in this country, living in this country as an observer. But you can dig back, looking back into history, the genesis of today's topic. So I'm going to be discussing today the death of liberalism and conservative idea in the 21st century. As you all know, especially those who watch my videos, you know on the Common Sense channel, we are big when it comes to history, because in order to understand what is happening now and what will happen in the future, you must know history, and you must look at history. All the things that are happening now, they, my friends, have the beginning. So you cannot just look at what's happening now and don't look in the past to understand what is happening, except someone with an agenda, someone who is trying to mislead or deceive you, will just do things that will make you just focus on what is happening now and don't look at the what's happening in the past. Because like I said on my channel, without an ancestors, there is no history. There's no argument about that. Someone must have done something to get the world or the societies to where they are today, or to where we are today. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to look at where these two philosophies or philosophers or ideologies are going, and it's not good. So let's look at conservatism. So looking at the historical background of conservatism for what it is today, we're going to look at the father of modern day conservatism. So conservatism, the grandfather of conservatism, his name was Edmund Burke. He's the father. You can check this. He's the father of the beginning. He's an ancestor. Let's say he's an ancestor now. But he started this movement that we know today as conservatism. You understand? And when you look at his history, you can trace that. Again, you can trace that to Europe. Everything that's happening in this country, the genesis of everything that's happening in this country, that's why America will never extrapolate itself from Europe. Whatever happens in Europe has an effect on this country, if you don't know. Even we get to that, because when you look at leftism, you look at liberalism, you know, all these things, they have the beginning. When I start to talk about liberalism, you will see how I can tie that, how we're able to tie that into it. So Edmund Burke is the father, not so-called father. He's the father of what we see today, the movement of conservatism. You understand? And conservatism is almost like someone come up with an idea and you're opposed to it. So conservatism started in Europe. It's a new thinking. And then all of a sudden, we have the French Revolution. And there's a philosopher that emerged out of the French Revolution, and his name is John Locke. You understand? John Locke. And then you have the French Revolution, and they're talking about liberté, individual rights, the role of government as far as making sure that these rights are protected, that they're not abused by a monarchy, or they're not abused by the states or noble laws, whatever. So the rights of individual to be protected, the idea of philosophies of the philosopher called John Locke. You can check his philosophy. He's brilliant. You understand? So these, my friends, are all, again, Europeans. You understand? So whatever is made of this country is all based on European philosophy. You understand? But the European philosophy, as far as conservatism is concerned, that would go on until the 1950. You understand? In the early 1950 was when we saw a new breed of individuals representing a conservative thought, where, for example, they are talking about limited government, they're talking about free market, they're talking about, they like to call it family value, but it was called a traditional family or traditional values. But I say it's family values, because when you say traditional values, what is that? Are you going back to the darkest time in American history? Or are you looking at just family or traditional way of life, which would be religion? Because if you look at modern day conservatism, is wrapped around religion. And I would talk about some of the flaws, because religion is just a panacea to keep people calm. It's not doesn't make anything better. It doesn't make a good family either. It doesn't change anyone's behavior. So it's just a panacea for a short time. Maybe I can say it's a religion, organized religion. I'm sorry, people. I'm talking about organized religion. And if you look at modern day conservatism, you find a lot to do with organized religion. And most historian has agreed, or without a doubt say, that the founder of today conservatism is actually, his name is Barry Goldwater. And there's another individual again, my friend, Ronald Reagan. These two individuals, right, are the founders, today's founders of modern day conservatism. You understand? I think I probably would do a video on how people become affiliated with political affiliation. I think I'm going to do that, because I don't want to throw some of that into this video, but I'll just talk about conservative values, because I've given you a historical background of how this thing started, conservatism, and where it's heading. Or is it dead? In my view, I think conservatism is dead. It's done. Conservatism, right, was dead the moment Charlie Kirk was shot. The moment, do I say murder? The moment Charlie Kirk, I think the whole country, including the world, knows who he is because his murder was just gruesome on national TV. And my kids saw that, and I wasn't okay with that. So I want to make that clear. But yeah, modern day or future conservatism, dead upon arrival. And I will tell you that. So conservatism in the 50s into the 60s was all about limited government, traditional values / family. I'm going to talk about that too. And sometimes they kind of talk about individual freedom, but I don't know much about that. But yeah, they do promote that too. So they and liberalism, they kind of meet at that juncture or junction most of the time when it comes to individual rights. But it's all about limited government, free market, and principles, values, and traditional values. But now the question is, for the past 30 to 40 to 50 years, the original values surrounding especially limited government has slowly eroded as far as conservatism is concerned. And we can see that happening now. There's no doubt about it. Under conservatism, or they call it the Republican Party, because some of them turn to say they master these values. Under the Republican Party, for educational purpose, has there been limited government? Ask the question. Honor them. Honor the Republican Party / conservative values. Government has steadily increased over the past 30 to 40 years now. Hasn't been what they said their original values or original ideology was set up to be. This is the modern day conservatism, because the olden days conservatism, the founding of conservatism, family values was in it, but it was more about individual rights, individual freedom, and some values around family. You understand? So we're just talking about limited government. Under conservatism has grown. As a matter of fact, they don't even care about fiscal discipline, hygiene. No, they just spend lavishly. They don't care. They don't care if it's pushing the next generation into debt. They don't care. So big government. Although when it's campaign time, when they're running, they come up with the same talking point. You understand? And I will tell you how it's changed, how the dichotomy has changed. The same talking point never changed. They just maybe tell you we're going to do something about fiscal, discipline. But they never change anything. We see now with the new government advocating more, conservative government advocating more for increase in certain areas of the government, especially when it comes to military spending. If it's me, I don't have a problem if it's going to the families of military people, but it's not that. It's going towards things that's not even, has nothing to do with them, has nothing to do with people who are around that, who are working within that sector, or maybe, who knows. But yeah, this steadily increase in spending, big government. So when you talk about what they call free market, that one, I think they are pushing that. But guess what? People are still complaining of jobs. I mean, decent jobs. So if they say free market, they are pushing most of the jobs outside of this country. And maybe that's the reason why Donald Trump, in my view, I don't think Donald Trump is a conservative. I don't know, but they want to claim Trump as a conservative. I don't think. Because everything that he stands for, he's the opposite. He's moving away. Although he's a business-minded person, but he's slowly, slowly moving away. I think he's trying to bring them back to that idea of not limited government, but as far as free market is concerned, but in America. But again, we'll see with time. But I think if you can make free market available in this country, promote free market in this country, it would help promote the growth of jobs or job growth. And when there is not just any kind of job, because you can have jobs all over the place, but if it's not paying enough to sustain your life and to pay for some of those things that you need, especially with inflation, then it's not even necessary. You know what I mean? Because back in the 50s, 60s, I wasn't born then, but I've spoken to people and I've read on this too. You could live on one job without even having your wife go out to work. So you see how conservative values and principles were working in the 50s and the 60s because they were putting family first. Okay, now let's talk about traditional values when it comes to conservatism, where they've let down the family, because no society become prosper, no society become better when the family is not intact, when the family is not holding together. Like in the 50s, a woman didn't really need to go out that much to help the man in the home, to work, when I'm talking about work. But that wasn't even the case for black people, black women. Black women have always worked in this country, have always been out there trying to help in the home. So I'm not going to say for her, but that was what it was then. You know what I mean? Like a man would go out one income maybe, but he could pay the mortgage, he could take care of buy clothes, take care of the schooling for the kids. That was family values right there. That's, I think, in my view, is the best way to promote family values. And we look at them from the, let's say from, when I say them, I'm talking about conservatism, the ideology of itself, the modern day conservatism. We look at it and they talk, oh my God, see them during election when they're talking about family values. They are not appealing to independent people. They are not appealing to people like myself who are on the fringe as far as religion, organized religion is concerned. They're talking to those people who are deeply religious and are the brainchild of conservatism, because within conservatism will not do well if religion, organized religion, is not evolved, because it's a culture of itself and it needs religion to keep it going. So they talk about unborn child, the child in the womb of the woman. They'll talk about how essential, how important it is to keep that child. I mean, it's a emotional discussion for a lot of people, including myself. And if I were to choose, I would choose to take life, then the opposite. This is the noun, the mean noun. Because when I was younger, that wouldn't even matter. You understand? I would be like, okay. I would be more concerned about how I'm going to take care of the child, than say taking the risks. You know what I mean? Like, hey, having that. But the mean noun wouldn't go that way. So as you get older, as you start to develop family, because in my view, honestly, I think all human beings, especially anyone in this country, have elements of all of these things. Our values are shaped around liberalism. Our values are shaped around conservatism. It's just a natural thing. But it don't happen to you when you were younger, because most time when you're younger, you're more liberal than you are conservative, even though you understand the values of conservatism, because conservatism is wrapped around organized religion. You get it? So they talk about the unborn child, but it's only when the child is in the womb of the woman, when she carrying the child. But once the child arrive, that child arrive in this country, in this world, that he or her, doesn't matter. Now it's the responsibilities of the family, or the dad and the mom, to take care of them. You understand? So if you are going to promote family values or traditional values, I think traditional values is the more accurate way. But they don't say traditional values. The modern day conservatism do not say traditional values. They say family values, because they know if they say family values, it's direct, it's not ambiguous. So that way, people who believe in family will be like, yeah, I can support that. You understand what I'm saying? So when you say traditional values, it's like, what are you talking about? But when you say family values, so I'm just trying to show you the similarity. So they care more about the unborn child, in short. But when that child comes into this world, there's nothing to support. So you have a situation where there are a lot of single men with children. There are a lot of single mothers with children. Now, it's going to be difficult raising that child into this world now once it's yours without no support. So they talk of family. They talk about traditional values, which is family values. But once the child comes into this world, it's all yours. And especially now, it's hard to raise children now, more or less care for them. So imagine if conservative values, which is what's his name? Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk would have been, if I'm not making mistake, the new father of modern day / modern day conservatism, because that's what he was doing. He was trying to enlist the next generation. Remember, I told you in one of my videos that every generation must take off from wherever the ancestor left. You understand? Wherever your ancestor left. So Charlie Kirk role was to look at, he saw all of the inconsistencies. He saw all of the issue that the generation that came from the 50s and the 60s and to this generation, he saw that there were problems with future conservatism. He saw, and that's why he was going to these colleges, talking to young people, because he saw young people were already noticing that there were issues with conservatism, especially organized religion, and they were moving away. So if you look at Charlie Kirk's entire crusade was surrounded around religion, family values, or traditional values. This is what he was talking about. But guess what? Lo and behold, while he was working on these, my friends, and this is the saddest part of it, someone must have seen it. And that person that saw it said that if we allow this to continue, this ideology is going to go into the future, and we don't want that to happen. So the best thing to do, because there are things Charlie Kirk was saying, even if you don't like him, right? But you can find some truth in it too. Even I listen to Charlie Kirk all the time. There are things he said I didn't agree with, but at the same time, there are things in it that made sense. Because the new me now understand life different than the me when I was like 20 years old. You see, it's a different me. You understand? Although the me now is not really involved in none of these ideology. I'm just in the middle watching them. But I have elements of both of them. that can be traced back to Europe, France, especially France and England. Philosophers. I have both of them in me, but I'm choosing wisely. That's the difference. And that's why I think it's good to be an independent-minded thinking person, because that way you can filter out all of the noise and all of the discrepancy and misguided information. You can filter out these just being an independent thinker. And that's what I think all of Charles Kirk's disciples, those people that he was preaching to, these individuals are not going to be conservative. No, it's not. Especially after his death, because now their eyes are opening, and not just them, the entire conservative world. I mean, people who believe in traditional family values. These kids are not going to have children. Yes, and they may have. I don't know if they're going to even have family or go into serious relationship where they're having children. I don't think so, with what's happening in our world today, because the more the cost to raise a child gets higher, inflation, and the more these children start to see relationship is not what it used to be in, say, in the 50s, 60s, and the more they try to challenge a modern day relationship as far as women are concerned, the more they try to, because some of them come in with this notion that you have to, a woman is supposed to play a certain role, and today's women are not doing that. Today's women are not like sitting in the house trying to cook for you, take your shoes off when you come from work, say, "How are you, honey?" Make your table look decent with all the juicy food sitting on there, and say, "Honey, when are you ready to eat?" Hey, kids, go help take your dad shoes or his pants upstairs. No. Modern day women are not trying to do none of that. So these women that are out here, even the conservative women, are not trying to subscribe to that, to the way of the 50s, their grandma, their great-great-grandma. They're not going to. So it's going to be hard for these individuals. I'm talking about the young ones. I'm looking from 18 all the way down to my age, the 40s and on. So these people are not going to be able to settle down easily. So what that does to family, it kills it. So whoever saw what Charlie Kirk was doing that took him out, let me tell you, you kill the conservative movement for the future generation of conservatism. And these kids are going to rebel. And let me tell you, the rebellious children of conservatism is actually the right. Yeah. And these individuals, you know what they want? They want change. They're tired of the old ways. And that's who's going to take over. That old idea of Edmund Burke, the founder of conservatism, is gone. That old idea of Ronald Reagan, limited government, free market, traditional values, that's gone. Whether you like it or not, it's the truth. Deal with it. You understand? It's gone. So yeah, that's just a little bit of, there more could be added to it, but I just wanted to kind of give you where this whole thing, Charlie Kirk should have been alive. You should have kept him, because when I watched Charlie Kirk, I used to listen to him, go to all these colleges. He was so strategic. I can say he was a strategic planner, because he knew where these people are. If you notice, he went to these traditional colleges. Sometimes he goes to a liberal college. But liberalism, this is the nice segue, because that's where I'm going to transition to right now. He won't go there that much, but he went to these traditional conservative colleges. And in some of these colleges, there are liberals there. Liberalism, my friend, is in all of us. Don't let someone divide you. That's the point I'm trying to say. Don't let someone divide you that there is conservative, they're liberal. All of us has, even liberal individuals that are liberal, right? They have some elements of conservatism in them. I think independent, we have everything. Independent people have everything. And I love being independent because, look, I want people to live free. Think free, live free, do your thing, be free. Freedom, freedom. And if you look at conservatism and liberalism, freedom is like the core, individual freedom. But sometimes especially conservatism and sometimes liberalism too, they kind of walk over individual freedom. So for me, looking at both of them, I think individual freedom should be the key. I don't care whatever they do, whether they die, they live, but for me, individual freedom must be the key. You get it? So let's look at liberalism. Liberalism is big because I think they're leaders less. And I think when it comes to liberalism and the founding, you can look at John Locke. As I said earlier, John Locke is the key figure in liberalism. And another key figure in liberalism was all the event that happened in the 21st century, no, the 19th century with, and you can look at people like FDR, especially FDR, because FDR was the first, he was coming right. I can understand why he did what he did. Franklin D. Roosevelt, but aka FDR. I can understand why he did what he did because they were just coming out of the Great Depression, and we're talking about a terrible time when a lot of people across the world, they don't even know that there was a time in this country when people had to stand in line for food. People had to use soup kitchen. They still have elements of that today. Soup kitchen, food pantries. Yeah, there are people standing in line to get a meal. 1920s, 1929, when the stock market collapsed, what happened? So when FDR came into the picture, he talks about government role in taking care of the society. He talks about social justice, and he also talks about individual freedom too. So it's a great time, and this man, right, expanded government reach. So now we find government taking care of the needs of people, which is a great thing. No one can disagree. Even conservatives are Republican today. They don't even share conservatism. All those people in that Republican Party, except maybe Donald Trump, little bit. But when it comes to fiscal discipline, Donald Trump he's not a conservative. When it comes to limited government, Donald Trump is not a conservative. Maybe Ronald Reagan and Barry Goldwater, yeah, these are true conservative. Donald Trump has never been a conservative anyway, but he kind of holds some of the value. Like I said, each of us in this country has these two part of us. Yeah, we're liberal and we're conservative. So don't let people divide you on this stuff. But let's look at liberalism. FDR came in and started doing all of these social programs, helping people. Even the guy who was poor, dead poor, start to experience. But again, we're going to say not everyone benefited from historically fact. But on my channel, I do my thing. Not everyone benefited from FDR program equally, as they like to say, equitably. You understand? But yeah, it was a program and it continued today. You understand? But the issue with liberalism is this. Liberalism promised a lot of things. And I think Europe is the same too. You can see that in France. You can see that in England. Part of Europe, they promised so much that the founding members or father of modern day conservatism did not address. They tell people, especially women, which is good. It's good for a woman to have an education. I have daughters, so I know how important it is for a woman to be educated. My mom promoted that to me too, to be informed, to always be informed. That's who I am today. I've always been the kind of person that say what I think, believe what I think, and do what I think, practice what you preach. But they tell these women to go to college, and these women put on a career. They went to college. Now, most of them are some of these values that liberalism promotes. There are a lot of women out there with college degree, not even one or two, but it's difficult for them to navigate the world of men. Whether you like it, it's a man's world. Some of these women are in it too. It's hard. They have to go through so much. I didn't want to talk about some of the things that some of these women had to do to climb the ladder. They call it the glass ceiling effect. The glass ceiling effect is liberal, is a liberal idea, because now they sent to all these women to get an education, and it did. And now the women got out of these colleges, and now they can't even find a job to which they went to school for. You know what I mean? And then that became a glass ceiling effect. So when you hear the glass ceiling effect, that's exactly what it's for. Women climbing the ladder, but then there's something holding them back. And today you see, if you look at statistics, this is not just me talking. If you look at statistics now, from the 2000 to now, there were more women with higher education in this country than, say, the past 40 to 50 years. It's a good thing, but it's not good for traditional family values, you understand? Or traditional values. Traditional values say no, a woman she can have all her aspirations and value, but her role is to be in a home. When an educated woman with all of these degrees, do you think she's going to spend time in a home? Honestly speaking, do you think she's going to do that? But again, I don't know, because it depends on your upbringing. There are a lot of women that are highly educated that would go an extra length, to take care of that man in the home, and treat him like that would play her role, even though she's highly educated. And there are those that are just ambitious, which nothing is wrong with that. But then where liberalism has issue now is they promise a lot of goodies to minority. And the minority people of this country, they haven't seen a penny. They've seen over the many years we're talking about, everything starting from the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to all of the promises that they have made, with a continuous leadership from the Democrat Party to the minority, and they haven't seen nothing. But in their eyes, they've seen the backs, all of the goodies going to other people that are not them. So that, my friend, is creating a problem, or will create a problem, that all of the values, you see some of the things that's going on right now. And these minority people, my friends, honestly speaking, they are in the middle. They cannot go to conservatism. They cannot go to liberalism. And they've been on the liberal side for over maybe generation. So they cannot even move away. So they're stuck. I mean the older ones now. The young people attitude is like, you know what? Things are hard. Things are difficult now. I don't want a relationship. I just want to be left alone. So you see, it's even though liberalism, some people like to say, is bad and stuff like that, but it also promote family values too. But the only thing is, it just take away the key figure that's supposed to be, because if you give so much help to a person, right, that person turns not to work. They wouldn't show interest in work ethics or value, because they already have the same thing happening in Europe. If you look at Europe today, they have so much benefit, so much help, that they don't feel like I need to work. And typical example, right, was those few years during the COVID-19. And after the COVID-19, what happened? People never wanted to go back to work. That, my friend, is exactly what liberalism policies and values created, you know, and then coupled with free market values from conservative, aka Republican, all of that exacerbate because some people want to work on the liberal side. You understand? But there's no job. Even if there's job, it's not paying enough for someone to say, you know what, let me keep up in there, you know. It's not encouraging. You go to some place to work, they treat you like you're trash, you know. And if you look at yourself, you be like, oh, no, I'm American, I'm an individual. I believe in my rights. I can't put up with this. The next thing you do, you don't want to work. Who want to work in an environment where you're treated like trash? So my thing is about all these um, job owner or industrialist or capitalist out there. You need to start to treat your employees with dignity and respect. That's also liberal ideas right there. I don't know if it's more of conservatism because conservatism is more about capitalism, like get the job done and get the hell out of here. I pay you, you know. So, but yeah, so all of these things, and then all these people that are in the middle, which would be minority. So when I'm talking about minority, that would be Black Americans. That would be Africans. That would be people from the Caribbean, people from South America, people from all over the world. Because all of these people, regardless, irrespective of their religious values, you know, because some people just think religion, if someone is a very religious person, they're going to be conservative just by being religious. Not true. Not true. Yeah, your religion has nothing to do with your political affiliation. It's your upbringing, my friend. And the upbringing is your culture that determines your political affiliation. You understand? So you wonder, someone who is, say, from a Islamic background, which is most of their values are more towards traditional conservatism. But why is it that they never vote conservatism? Because for them, it's not about whatever conservatism is promoting. It's more about their culture. You understand? If their cultural values align with liberalism, that's where their votes is going. So it has nothing to do with their religious belief. So liberalism, the reason why liberalism would die is because it doesn't have no leader. Liberalism has no leader right now. Who can you point to? Hope is, all hope is the shell of hope. Sometimes he shows up. I seen, I don't know if it's AI or what, on social media of him holding like a plaque talking about, do you want me to come back? It's so surreal that he would do that because he knows he can't run again. But I think the issue with liberalism is they're not learning. And they're always gonna have their rebellious children. And their rebellious children is leftism. Leftism are the rebellious children of liberalism, because if you look at liberalism, the grandmother of liberalism is progressivism. Progressivism is the mother. I didn't say this during the beginning of when I was talking about liberalism, but without progressivism, there's no liberalism. So all of the things that I just talked about, these values of liberalism, right? They're all progressive. They came out of the progressive era. You understand? So that progressivism, a progressive attitude towards society, towards ethics, towards people, doesn't matter where you're from, your gender, your ethnicity, your religious affiliation, we're all in the same situation together. We're all one big family. That's gone. Because they don't have a leader. Show me one leader that's part of the liberal right now. It's not Joe Obama. It's not him. It's not Joe Biden. Who is it? Is it a guy in California? Or the young guy that just showed up in New York? Is that guy? Who? Are we looking at a future leader for liberalism? So liberalism is gone. I mean, if the thing is, you have to look at the connection. If liberalism and conservatism fail in Europe, they fail here. Because they are historically linked. Liberalism in Europe is almost gone. The children of liberalism, right? They are the ones, and they are the leftists. They have taken over. It's just a matter of time that leftism take over. It's just evolution, man. Can't you see the evolution? It went from progressivism to liberalism, and now it's going to move to leftism. Whether you like it or not, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a new thinking. It's going to be led by the children. The children are not playing by that old book. The children are saying, whatever is entitled to me, I want it, and I want it now. I don't want delay. I don't want you to tell me story. I don't want to wait. I want it now. So that's the attitude. You understand? Same with conservatism. On the right, they're saying, all right, you either give me those values or I get it myself. But I need the traditional values that you were talking about. I need limited government. You can see there are fewer, I think you know some of them in their names. But Margaret Green Taylor is one of them. I'm not going to say she's a leftist, but who knows? But she's saying we need to have this. We need to go back to traditional values or / family values. We need limited government. We need free market that work for everyone. So you see the evolution. This video is to show you the evolution. So whether they try to force it or not, those two, conservatism, liberalism, dead. Charlie Kirk was going to do them some favor, but because there's some leadership, some evolution happening in conservatism. Yeah, but that's gone. Whoever is in TPUSA, not gonna, it's gone, man. It's gone. That, gone. Liberalism, on the other hand, leftism, it's just the demonization of leftism and the demonization of the right. You understand? The right. They call them the right. It's the demonization. And these two ideas or ideologies, they birth out of these two ideology that came from Europe, conservatism and liberalism or progressivism. Their era is done. So you have to usher in a new ideology, which is leftism and the right. They don't want to let go, but it's gonna happen. And that's, my friend, is the essence of this video. You know, I'm an observer. That's what I do. I watch these things. For the past 25 years, that's what I've been looking at. Yeah, I've been looking at it. And I've been seeing it. That's the reason why when Charlie Kirk came up, when Obama came, I was like, maybe this guy right here is going to take this. But I think Obama could be a leftist. There's nothing bad about being a leftist. The thing is, you were saying we want things to be done. If you're a leftist, you want things done, like now. A leftist is like a progressive that want things done now. We're not going to take next year. We're not going to take 2 or 3 years. We want it now. Childcare, we want it now. family, providing for family, making sure that women have the necessities to do what they need to do, make sure climate change and all this good stuff. We want it now. We want it to be done now, and it has to be done in policies. And then the liberals are saying, or aka progressive, they are saying, be patient, be patient. And this goes for white liberals and minority. Yes. I don't know, but with time, maybe that's going to change too. Maybe we're all going to be majority. Who knows? Or we're going to be equal in terms of population. But we're going to keep saying minority because you have to be politically correct. PC. You understand? But yeah, they promise so much, and these people who are here that are promising, like the young politicians, sometimes they burnish them as socialist. I think it's just a name so they can divide them, because it's always been opposition. Liberalism is opposition to conservatism, because the first ideology was conservatism in Europe after the French Revolution, or some of the changes that occur in Europe as far as people revolting. The French Revolution, some of the changes in England. I think England too. England has the Enlightenment era. All of these things help shape liberalism. In America, liberalism was considered progressivism. But progressivism is the same as liberalism, but liberalism in I don't know why I keep saying it. Progressivism is the mother or the brain behind liberalism as far as American ideology is concerned. Because liberalism came from Europe, but in this country, it's progressivism, right? So, but they share the same values. So whatever values you see in liberalism, you'll find the same thing in progressivism, except that these two have produced a new breed called leftism. It's not bad to be a leftist. It's just that leftists want things done. And in the right, in conservatism has breed out a new breed called rights, the right of them. They're not playing. I don't think they're playing. And honestly speaking, I think they should continue with their MAGA. I think MAGA should be a political party. Yeah, because conservatism is gone. It's gone. All these people that are in that Republican Party, they don't share no conservative values. As far as, check this out, individual freedom, not individual. Yeah, individual freedom can be part of that too. Limited government, free market, traditional values / family values. They don't have none of that. They don't promote family like they said they should. Maybe they'll say it in words, but in policies, no. And the left comes out and say, no. Whatever you say here, not the left, but it could be both. The right of conservatism, right? They come out and say, you got to practice what you preach, my friend. You cannot talk about limited government. You cannot talk about free market. You cannot, free market as benefiting the people of this country. You cannot talk about traditional value / family value without producing policies that will help these families. Same thing on liberalism. The next generation, who they often call leftists, they're saying you can't be talking about all these goodies that you're going to give us, and we haven't seen anything yet. I think minority are in the middle, but I think if they know best, right? This is from the Common Sense China now. For those people that are in the middle, minority now, the young ones, I'm talking to you young people, just be in the middle and let these two of them, if they're ever going to be around, I don't think they're going to be around, But if these people, these two, conservatism and liberalism, aka progressivism, if they cannot make their mind about your livelihood, be in the middle. Let them compete for your vote. Let them compete for you. You relax like a king and queens that you are. And let these two, I don't want to use profanity, I never done, so I'm just going to keep it that way. Let these two of them, and if they cannot, walk away. That's individual freedom. That's what it is. And you find individual freedom in both of the platform. If you look at the conservatism before the 1950s into the 60s, you will see individual freedom in it. If you look at liberalism and progressivism, aka liberalism, if you look at their own platform or their founding platforms, you will see individual freedom in there. So use that to walk away. Say it's time, bye-bye. Things are not working out for me with you. I'm out. Same thing on the side. The left, if the leftism can produce some of the things that the people have, although they're going to be asking sometimes, especially conservatism, aka Republican, they like to say, where are the money? Where's the money? But they have money for war. But the poor, you screwed. Leftism is saying no. You can't have money spreading all over the place, starting this or wars all over the place, but you can't feed the poor. You see? So they like to call leftism like terrible names. Sometimes they want to be nice. They call them socialism. But if you look in both of the policies, both conservative, aka Republican, and progressivism, liberalism, if you look at the policies, you see a lot of socialism in there. A lot. But then they come out with these lies and they try to make you look stupid. And then they tell you we have the best educational system in America. And then all of a sudden they think Americans are so dumb that they can't think or they can't see between the line. Now, the generation of the 50s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, yeah, you could fool those ones. But I don't even think they were fooling people like Marvin Gaye, or they were not fooling people like, what's his name? Richard Pryor. They were not fooling people like, what's his name? Eddie Murphy. Or they're not fooling those people. People like Obama from the liberal side, Democrat side. These people are seeing it, and I think this generation, man, look, don't ever, if you're a politician, don't ever think this generation is gonna be fooled. We're not gonna put up with that. We see you, and we know you now. And that's why I'm gonna continue to do these videos, because that's what we need to do. We just need to see what's been happening and just talk about it. Yeah, we need to do that. Because if you expect to get this information from the media, traditional media, you're not gonna get it. If you expect to get this information from the colleges, maybe it's gonna be one side leaning. Whether if you go to a highly religious, conservative school, university, there's gonna be leaning towards that. They're not gonna promote anything liberalism or progressivism. If you go to the progressive school or liberal leaning school, you probably, and I went to a liberal school or liberal progressive leaning school, but in spite of all of that, I still had a little bit of conservatism in me. But at this time in my journey or evolution, I'm more just like all of you, bounce. I'm in the middle now. I'm in charge. Individual freedom to think for the self. And that's what I promote here on my channel. I don't be doing anything to align with none of them, because I see all of them as players. Like that one politician that often run as independent in New York. Sometimes I feel sorry for that guy. Because every now and then he runs, he never even get nowhere. And I feel like, how would it be difficult? It must not be difficult for someone to run as an independent in this country, bro. I don't know. There's something about. I think they kind of. I think that guy maybe could be considered. Maybe he doesn't know it, the guy that run in New York, and many of them that run as independent. What's his name? The one that is more famous is Bernie Sanders. But Bernie Sanders, I don't think he really know what he stands for, because he knows like he's an independent, but sometimes he's Democrat. He's a progressive, and he is like playing all these roles, so it's confusing. Just be something. Bernie Sanders, just say, I'm a leftist. Why don't you say that? Because you know if you say that, they're gonna put you, like they're gonna burn you out, and then nobody's gonna even look at you. But if you call yourself a leftist and you believe in what you say, right? Because that's where the future is heading. A lot of people are gonna vote for you, because being a leftist, it's not like those people they see on the street burning down places. Those are anarchists. Yeah, but they like to add leftism. Leftism are people like saying, you know what? You promised me all these goodies, give it to me, I want it. That's what leftism is. It's the same thing as those on the right of conservatism. They're just tired of the old people telling them the same old thing. Just imagine you go to a job, or you're on a job for a long time. Every now and then your boss come and tell you, you're so great. You do an excellent job every day. You come to time on work and you do exactly what you're supposed to do. You are the foundation of my company. But whenever promotion comes up, they never even give you the chance. You're just there. Everyone is passing by you. They're having all the bags, they're laughing, they're jubilating, everything is great for them. But you've been on the job for 20, 30 years, well experienced, doing everything that you need to do. But every now you're told that you're good, you're nice, everything is great, you're making the company grow, you are the best. Without you, the company cannot exist. But yet, you're not seeing anything. That's exactly what happened. And because of that, and they're not going to do anything. When I say they, talking about conservatism, progressivism, aka liberalism, they are not going to do. They are at their last. So the people that are going to emerge from both of these ideologies or philosophies are the right of conservatism and the left of liberalism. And these, my friends, are the children. Charlie Kirk understood. He wanted to transition conservatism for the future, but that was shortcut. Understand? So now those in the progressivism, aka liberalism, they need to just accept that the children are not playing and they want change and they want it now. And those children that are sometimes called socialist or leftist, they need to rebrand themselves. Or they can just stay like that. Because I believe that people should be whatever they want to be. And they should stay that. You shouldn't change for no one. But your policies or your ideology, which is what this country is, must be the one to speak on your behalf. You don't need to hide yourself into the Democrat Party, because it's going to be the same old thing. Reburnish yourself. If you're on the right of conservatism, reburnish yourself. Like right now, those who are on the right of conservatism, they already reburnished themselves. They got MAGA. If they can hold on to MAGA and flush out all of those traditional Republican Party, conservative Republican Party members, if they can flush them out, which I think will happen, you have a birth of a new political ideology, which will be called Make America Great Again, MAGA. So on the left of the Democrat Party, the leftist needs to figure out. I'm just giving you on the common sense channel, man. I see these things and I'm pointing it out. So watch. Always watch my videos, because that's why I don't just come out. I don't be going by the flair, I just look at it and then I speak out, So don't bury this video. If you watch this video, share it out, because you're learning. I'm talking about 25 years of my being in this country or more, for the past 25 years now, since I've been here but for the past 25 years, right? It's what I've seen, and I just giving it because I'm in the middle for a reason. There's a reason why I'm independent, because I seen the two of them, and that guy in New York was right. The guy that was running for governor, the gubernatorial seat, with between John Cuomo and the guy in New York, now the mayor. He said, "Look, these people are playing you. Both of them are playing you," because he saw the new mayor of New York. He went to meet with Donald Trump. This man was talking to Trump as if nothing had happened. So that's what they call politics as usual. When you hear that, that's what they mean right there. Politics as usual. Politics as usual, right? Because they can extrapolate themselves from their party and themselves. So there's no ethics, there's no morals, there's no value. Trump sometimes, he'd be like, you know what, I'm going to get out of these people. See, that's what makes Trump unique. Because Trump can be like, I'm not going to always play by your rule. I'm going to do what I think is best. So let me say this. After Trump, if Trump leaves office, conservatism is dead. Yeah. They can't who is in there? Who? Name one. Name one. Is it that guy in Florida? The one in where? Where else? Where? Where? Is it the governor of Florida? Which one? What's his name? The Secretary of State? Is that guy? No. They don't have no one too. They only have the people. So the people are the ones that's going to revolt. Yeah, the people. It's a revolution going on their own end too. The Democrat, I think they've been having revolution since Joe Obama left. Yeah, they've been having revolution. So I don't think they have someone yet to represent them. That's the honest truth. Yeah, if you ask me, they don't have no one. But if leftism can remove themselves from the party and figure out a name that will match whatever it is they want to do, crusade on the issues that they think their fathers and mothers were not mastering, they can be a formidable force, because there must be an opposition to MAGA. MAGA is going nowhere. Or MEGA, Make America Great. MAGA is going nowhere. Some people call it MEGA, MAGA, whatever, but it's not going nowhere. Yeah, so that's from the Common Sense channel. Again, I just, if you watch the video, you like it, go ahead and just, whatever, ask question, whatever, just for educational purposes, right? The way I see the world, and like I told you, the way you see the world is how you approach it. At the end of the day, people's lives must be better. If you are appointing, electing politicians that are going over there, and then another thing against this whole issue with Israel, tarnish the repetition of conservatism. And now, like I said in the beginning of this video, the only way conservatism can be viable is that it must wrap itself around organized religion. And because organized religion is decaying, right? That's why they're fading. It doesn't mean that on the left of progressivism and liberalism, or progressivism/liberalism, they don't believe in religion. But religion is not the driving force. Whatever you see on the Democrat side is real. They don't allow religion to influence the way they think and the way they behave. On the contrary, what I see on conservatism is a bunch of hypocrites. This bunch of hypocrites, they're just there. They don't believe in religion as they want us to believe. They don't. They don't believe in family values as they want to. I do. Maybe they talk about it, but the policies does not reflect family values in them. At least for those in the middle, which would be the minority, they don't see that. Like people who are highly religious, maybe they might see that. But people who see religion as a problem, they can see that too. So yeah, as I've always said in my video, I don't want this to be too long because, like I say, most of the problems we have today, you can trace them back to historical beginning. And you can trace them back to where your forefathers made mistakes. And you can even trace them back to where they started from. Because every now and then, every new generation, when Barry Goldwater took over the conservative movement and changed it, and when Ronald Reagan took over, that was a new generation taking over. The same thing when Obama took over the Democrat Party. That was a new generation taking over, and it's changed now. But then the promise never kept, you see? So, and those people that they're promising are real human beings. Sometimes they think they're talking to stooge. Sometimes they think they're talking to minions or some robotic human being somewhere, like some, I don't know how they see the people. Sometimes they see them like some little ants. But you don't make promises to people, real human beings, and don't fall on it, you know, and the people become disgruntled and rebellious, and that's the children. So on the left, it's under Democrats, aka progressive values or liberal values, are the leftists. They're not evil people. They're the children. They want results. On the conservative side, the right, they're not even evil either, too. They just want results. So those two are going to be the future of this country. And those two are going to be opposition to each other. We independent, we're going to be watching them. And we're going to be seeing where the goodies are. We're going to be looking for the goodies. If the goodies, my friend, is with conservatism, that's where I'm going. If the goodies, my friend, is with leftism, my friend, that's where I'm going to. I don't care about what they do because the division, right, don't mean nothing to me. Because at the end of the day, it's about America, right? What makes this country better. So if your ideology to solve problem is not working, bounce. Straight up, 100%, bounce. Let someone come in, a new ideology that will bring about the change, especially on limited government. Free market values that work for this country, and traditional values that help promote family values, that help keep a man and a woman in the home, raising beautiful, smart, intelligent children that will end up the future leaders of this country. That's all we are asking for. Independent thinkers, independent voters. Because we look at them, we see that they are dividing this country. We're not happy about it. And we're right not to be happy about it. All of the things that I'm talking about here, anyone out there asking, but you are African. These were values, right? That were taught to me. I didn't ask for them. I didn't beg for them. I remember in school, everything that was taught to me is what I'm regurgitating to you. It's what I'm saying to you. And I'm holding you accountable, my friends, because I'm part of this big umbrella. And I must be covered. And so many of us out there that are independent-minded people thinking, because we've been on both sides, and nothing is coming down this way. It must come down. You cannot promise, and don't produce. In my job, when I go to work, I have to produce. If I don't produce, I get fired. I get let go. It's the same thing that must happen to you if you don't produce. Conservatism and liberalism, aka progressivism, dead. Usher in this new ideology, whether it's MAGA or leftism. Don't demonize any of them, because at the end of the day, all of them, these two people, right, they are all Americans, and that's what matters. As I've always said in my videos, the greatest thing, my friends, that could ever happen to anyone is not the day you were born. Not the day you had your first child, the day you graduated from high school, college, the day you became a lawyer, doctor, whatever it is that you're working on in your life, my friends. The greatest thing that could ever happen to you is the day, my friends, you discover yourself. Because from that day on, everything, my friends, will start to make sense to you. You will be able to understand conservatism, leftism, aka Democrat Party, or liberalism slash progressivism. You will understand all of the ploys, all of the deception. You will understand the right too, what they stand on and what they want. You will understand the leftism, what leftism is seeking for and what they want. Because if people, Bob Marley said, an hungry man is an angry man. You understand? When someone is hungry, you don't even talk too much to them. They don't want to hear because they're hungry. But when they're fed, now you can start a discussion with them. And you, my friends, will start to understand all of the divisions and happening in this country, or happenings in this country. You will understand and you will make up your mind to be in the middle and independent. And I've always advocated this. That's what you want to be. An independent is an American, a patriotic American that understands that no political affiliation or ideologies can stop them from being who they are, an American, a patriot. So that's what you will be, my friends. And as I've always said, I hope that you are doing great. I hope that your family, everything is okay. And most importantly, my friends, I hope that you are in good health. All those people that have been watching my videos, I appreciate you. I honor you. Thank you. You are smart. Keep it up. And just keep promoting my videos. And for those who also are subscribed to my channel, I honor you as well and your families. Thank you and have a pleasant day. Goodbye.